What's up, guys? Average Kiwi guy here. How y'all doing? So I just got back from the Maze Runner, the Death Cure, which is the final of this film series. It kind of came along in like the hype of all these sort of, young adult teen sort of apocalypse books. Hunger Games, Divergent, all that shit. Um, and honestly, like the Maze Runner films, I somewhat liked. They were different from the other ones. It wasn't, it actually had like a little bit of, a little bit of, bit of a scary stuff in it. It actually had some little intrigue. It wasn't so, you know, you know, this guy has like three, girls after him. This girl has two guys or something after him. Like it didn't have that like kinda like it was a little bit ahead and it actually had some sort of interest, and it did some crazy shit, which I was like, okay, it's all right. It's not great. It's still one of these, it's still one of these film series that's very much based around the people that love these books. But it's okay. It's better than the other ones. I'll take that. So just so you guys know, the way this review is going to go, it'll be non-spoiler at the start. Only the stuff that we've seen in trailers and that we know from, news and shit like that, or before seeing the movie. Like, I'll try and keep as non-spoiler as possible. So if you are wanting to go and see the film and you don't want to get spoiled, probably best to, watch the first part, and then I'll tell you guys when we're moving into spoilers, okay? And a little Kiwi will pop up with a spoiler thing, okay? So, safe for now, and I'll tell you when. So, what I think of it. I mean, it was okay. It was interesting. It had some, exciting moments. It had some, intriguing stuff about it. On the scale of like the Maze Runner films, like where did I think I sat? I quite liked the second one. I liked Scorched Trials. I thought it was, it wasn't like all stuck in this freaking maze. It was a little bit more open. It had the zombie stuff. It had the wicked stuff. It had sort of like some betrayal stuff and some new characters brought in, like Jorge and Brenda. And I was kind of happy with that, right? So I honestly don't think it's better than the Scorched Trials, but it was still okay. I thought and it's better, like, it's way better than, like, Divergent and stuff. It's way better than, I'd say, the later Hunger Games, to be honest. Like, I think it's in that area, you know? But compared to, like, other better films, like, they don't match up. When you go to see these films, you got to understand, like, what you're watching is, like, it's based on a young adult book. So it's going to have some very hyper, sort of over-dramatized stuff. It's going to have some silly decisions. It's going to try and have some soppy romance stuff in it too. So you kind of have to roll with the punches on that one. But I did come out thinking, you know what? It wasn't a waste of my money. I had a decent good time. I think they did all right. And it was a somewhat good sort of finale to all of this. Though the ending was a little, like, vague on that. So, but they did say that this was the end of the series. So, that's cool. So, story-wise, it was okay. The pacing was it felt like it dragged for a little while there through the middle, and then it seemed to pick back up to finish it off. So it's actually a decently long film. It's about 2 hours 20, so it's substantial. It's not one of these little short sort of 1.5 hour sort of, quick watches. And did I think it needed to be that long? You could have shaved some stuff off. Some of the stuff, like even the ending a little bit dragged out. Like, you probably could have finished that up a little faster. But I think they wanted to sort of set the mood there. And little bits here and there was like, that wasn't too necessary. It was just, yeah. I didn't feel like I got bored through it, which was a good thing. I was like, the stuff that was happening was somewhat interesting. So I was happy enough to sit there and watch it. I wasn't like, man, come on, man. Like, this is getting on a little bit. Let's pick up the pace. It was okay. But you could notice that it was kind of dragging a little bit. So story-wise, it follows that typical finale sort of book where, you know, big bad guy is in his big bad base. You know, you finally see where they're centered, like this big thing. Like we've seen the city in the trailers and stuff, and that's where Wicked is and all that. And, you know, basically the good guy's got to figure out a way to get in there, do some stuff, and get back out. Like, okay, we got to follow their plans, like, because they're evil and all the rest of it. Even though they're only trying to save the world, but Maze Runner's always been weird on that. Like, you got the good guys, who are these kids that are immune to this virus that's, you know, just wrecking the world, you know, turning everyone into these freaking zombies. And like they call them like cranks, but for God's sake, they're zombies. They bite at you, they spread the virus through biting and all the rest of it. And they basically, you know, this wicked company is trying to, you know, use these kids that are immune to create a cure for everyone. But the kids that are in these, and they put them all in these mazes, so the cure inside them, you know, the antibodies, like I think they're exposed to the cure and to the virus in that way, so their antibodies flare up and fight the cure. So they think they'll be able to, you know, take them out of those mazes and then harvest their blood or whatever, and that will give them a cure. So that they're doing the wrong things for the right reasons. So then when the, you know, the good guys, the, you know, the maze runners and all that come out and they fight Wicked and all that, they're essentially fighting the people that could potentially save the world, sort of thing. So it's a little wacky in that way. But the story itself in this one was, you know, Wicked, big city, the last sort of city of you know, of humanity, essentially. Well, they assume it's still like the last bastion, and it was like, it was very glamorous, I must say. Like, for a world that does not have many resources left, like, you're trying to hoard everything in. Like, they have freaking monorail shit. They had billboards going off everywhere. They, like, clearly don't worry about power. Power is not a thing they're worried about. Like, Wicked's base is like this shiny fucking, like, you know, building skyscrapers, all this rest of this stuff. I'm like, hang on a minute. Like, I guess that they could have been there originally before they got all wrecked, so they're like, you know, we're just keeping it going. But when you're trying to conserve resources and stuff like that, are billboards really necessary? Are billboards really necessary? Are all these grand lights really necessary? I don't know. It felt very... It reminded me of the Capitol from Hunger Games a little bit. It reminded me of that. But the people weren't dressed up so weirdly. It was just normal people. And they have a big wall around it, and the people on the outside, there's this little resistance group out there, and like that's where it all kind of kicks off from there. It's all centered around getting Minho back, right? It's like his best friend, the other runner from the Maze Runner, and one of the originals from the first film, and it's all about getting him back. That's pretty much all this story. I will say the bro love in this film is legit. It is literally like, if you're looking for like, you know, the love story between, you know, him and Teresa, or even him and Brenda and all that, you could potentially be disappointed in this one. You could potentially be disappointed a little bit there. The bro love is legit. Like, you know, pretty much all the time, he's like, I gotta get Minho back. Gotta get Minho back. It's like, well, dude, like, your girlfriend betrayed you, like, in the last movie. No, gotta get Minho back. The bro love is legit. The bro love is legit. It was a lot more action-packed, I would say, this film. A lot more action-packed. Less zombies, less, like, running, and more sneaking in, figuring out plans to, you know, get into these very well-defended places. Sort of, you know, trying to figure out all that stuff. It wasn't like the last two movies, they were running away from something. Now they're running towards something. I think that was kind of the whole thing about it. Like, they've stopped running and now they're going to run back towards danger. Like, that type of thing. The zombies were in it. They were in it, but they weren't like the main focus. They weren't like the main, like, worry and bad guy in this one, like the Scorched Trials were. This one was very much like Wicked itself. Can I just say, like, all these movies, they have all the same hovercraft stuff. Like, they all look the same. Like, there's hovercraft in this film, and they look the same as the stuff in Hunger Games. And I'm pretty sure Divergent had similar things too. So it was like, can one of you, like, make something a little different? Like, it looked slightly different, but it's like, can anyone, like, come up with a little bit of a different idea for this? I mean, it was cool, but yeah. And I gotta say, like, some of the, like, survivors, they got all the skills, man. Like, they can pilot these things. They can, like, I guess maybe you were a pilot at some point, but Jorge, like, this is Jorge. Jorge pilots it. He was the sort of, the old guy from the last one who was, like, kind of like a dad to Brenda. And he sort of run the, I remember, like, it was a factory or something, and the kids all ran in there. They were running away from the cranks. And then they ran in there, and then, like, there's a whole bunch of cranks all chained up, and he ran that little group there, and then the whole group kind of turned on him, and he had to run away with the kids. It was that guy. He's still with them, and, you know, Brenda's with him as well. And he just has all the skills. He has all the skills, man. He can fly this thing like he's been doing it for years. Like, he's flicking switches, he's doing all this. I was like, dude, good on you. You're the every man. Like, you can just do everything. Sweet. But yeah, the story is okay. It's predictable. It's the way you think a lot of these, you know, novel series, film series. It's very predictable the way it goes. You know, they're all kind of the same. I would say that there's kind of less crazy shit in this one. I felt like it was a little more toned down. Like I said, there's a little bit more action, a little bit more shooting, a little bit more sneaking around. They did have some crazy moments. Like, there are some stuff that they do some, like, whoa, okay, that was kind of cool. Like, I like that. But it wasn't like, you know, going from mazes with crazy robotic, like, scorpion things to them running out and having zombies chasing you in this crazy desert with ruins everywhere. It was just like they're in a city with people and they have to sneak around because everyone wants to kill them. And it was like, it didn't have that same feel. Like, I think it was kind of like what Hunger Games, like what the stuff with Hunger Games happened. Like, when they stopped going into the Hunger Games, it kind of got lame. I think that's kind of what happened to this one. That's why I don't like it as much as probably the first two. So yeah. Character-wise, Thomas is Thomas. He's kind of like that just stoic dude that just, you know, I gotta do this. I gotta be the big hero. I have to do this thing. I'm gonna run off by myself. Oh wait, my friends are coming. Cool, they can drive me. You know, that sort of thing. And like I said, the bro love is legit all the way through this film for multiple characters. Teresa. Honestly, I didn't really like Teresa all that much in this film. I don't think she had a very redeemable arc in any way. I think stuff that she did was, like, she legit flips all the time. All the time. Like, some stuff you're like, okay, you chosen a side, cool, stick to that side. And then, okay, maybe if Thomas convinced you to come over, cool. But there's moments where she's like, she's here, and she's doing this, and she's helping them. And then, oh, she's over here now with these guys. She's helping them. Oh, now she's back with them. It's like, God damn it, make up your mind, please. You know, that sort of thing. I guess it was like a, you know, they're trying to, like, she still has this thing for Thomas and all that. And I mean, I didn't feel it all that much. It was kind of like, I think there was more made about, like, the bro love between Thomas and Minho than anything. I swear to God. then there was like, then it's kind of like, Newt. I think Newt was there. He had an interesting arc through this. He made some very stereotypical, decisions that was like for this type of movie and this, stuff that's going on in this movie where it's like, dude, are you really going to make this mistake? Like every other freaking character in your position makes. God damn it, man. But I like him. I like Newt. I think he talks shit back to Thomas. He, he's kind of like the steady guy. He keeps everyone calm, and I don't mind him. I think he's kind of cool. And then like I like Jorge. I think Jorge's really cool, the old guy. And then he kind of gets separated from Brenda at one point, and he's just beating up this guy, trying to tell like, where is she? Where is she? Like just freaking just beating this guy to a pulp. And she's like, yo, I'm over here. I love that part. There was some funny moments in this film. I gotta say, there was some funny moments. And then there was some moments which I think were meant to be serious, but I ended up laughing because it was so stupid and silly. And they were trying to make it so dramatic, but it was like, no, no. Brenda, I kind of felt sorry for Brenda by the end of this film. I kind of felt sorry for her. I think she did so much. She did so much and got so little in return. She really did. But I quite liked her, actually. I think she was better than freaking Teresa. I was like, man, I'm going with you. I'm going with you. I think you're better. I'm Team Brenda. That's what I'm going to be. Hashtag Team Brenda. That's where I'm going. Yeah, I don't give a shit about Teresa. Teresa's just lame. It's like, I'm going with you. I think my money's on you, girl. But it was just, yeah. It's just here on that one. And then they had like a couple of the other guys, like Fry Pan and all that, and like Eris and all that turned up. The guy that was like trapped in the maze with a whole bunch of hot girls. Like, damn, bro. Like he shows up for like a minute or two. And there is actually an unexpected return here for a character that was somewhat lost in the Maze Runner movies. So that was kind of cool. I enjoyed their return. I thought it was quite good. But I won't spoil that. That'll be in the spoiler section if you want to see. And then I guess we got to go to the bad guys. Pretty much like all the like hunting guys, they're all masked up, so they're nothing. But really the two main ones are Ava, who's like the blonde-haired lady, kind of the head of Wicked. She's sort of like this mentor to Teresa and trying to keep her on track and stuff. She's somewhat, I think, a little bit disappointing. She doesn't really do all that much. She has, some choices to make, and she makes them very easily. And I'm like, lady, you like fought your entire life, for the last part of how many years this has been happening and doing this, and you just choose that? Okay. And then obviously Littlefinger. Yeah, I was gonna call him Littlefinger, but Jansen or Adian Gillen. But Littlefinger, he's in there, and he's basically Littlefinger, right? He's basically Littlefinger in a post-apocalyptic world with guns and an army behind him. That's really it. I think he has quite a good, couple of scenes at the end. I thought the sort of finale with him was quite cool. He's the true villain in this one. He's the true villain, I think. And it's just, you can't help but, especially if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you're just like, Littlefinger, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? You just sneak around. He's got that, Littlefinger, sort of grin on his face the entire time. Yeah. I liked him. I thought he was good. He did, he's the same pretty much in all of his stuff that he does. So if you like Littlefinger, you're pretty much gonna like Jensen. But he was in the second one too. But yeah, I mean, like Minho and all that, he's like screaming half the time, so he's all right. Fry Pan's like just the other dude that's helping out. There's like Vince, who was kind of like the safe haven guy. He was like the resistance leader that was up in the mountains in the second one, like in the mountains, that sort of thing. Um, he's just there. He's just there. It's just extra people. There's extra people. But yeah, but I mean overall, like, it was okay. It was okay. It's not like a must see. It's not a you have to go out and see it right now. You have to go out and like watch it and it'll change your life. No. It's in there with all the, these sort of young adult teen novel films. They're all based off kind of the same thing, really. Like I said with Maze Runner, at least they try stuff that's different. But I felt like in this one, they fell back into the trope of a finale thing. But at least, like, unlike freaking Hunger Games, they didn't split it into 2 movies. Thank God. But I think it wraps it up reasonably well. I think it's like, okay, Maze Runner's done now. That's cool. We're ready to move on. And I think, this whole novel-based sort of, trend that was happening there for a while, especially once Hunger Games come out and all that. I think it's all in Twilight and all that. I think it's done. I think it's finished. I don't think we need too many more. I don't think I think people understand now that it's pretty much done. I think out of all of them, I probably like Maze Runner the best. I think I can tolerate it more. I think it's, it's got some kind of interesting moments. It's somewhat funny. And this, Death Cure, it wraps that up. I think it's a little more predictable than the other ones. I think, there wasn't so much like a moment, or like, strange mystery moment, where they're in the lab. In the first one, they're in the lab at the end and like it just ends. And you're like, wait, what? So there were people here and they were experimenting on them? Like, wait, what? And then, of course, you get the Scorch Trials and it's like, there's zombies now? And there's deserts and shit? What the heck? Like, that sort of thing. This one, it was just, it kind of went into a more traditional ending, I think. Which is a little disappointing. A little disappointing. How it relates to the book, like the actual Death Cure book itself, I don't know because I've never read the Maze Runner books. I should ask my sister that when she sees it on Saturday. I'll tweet it out, like if it's the same or not. But I can't say if it is. So if you do read the Maze Runner books and you're a big fan of them, I can't say if it really sticks to the book in any way. I heard something that there was like some, like it was up like north in the Arctic or something at some point. Someone told me, but I don't know. I never read the book, so don't quote me on that. I think it's just people freaking out about it. So yeah, so I can't tell you on that side. Would I say go and see it? I think if you got nothing to do. I think if you don't mind these types of films, I think if you enjoyed the other, Maze Runner films, it's quite nice to finish it off. See the final one, see where the characters end up, see what they all do. Like I said, I don't think it's a must see. Like if your movies or cinemas or whatever, do like specials or something later for movies later on. I think go and see it then. See it when you have time. See it when you have time. I think that's probably the best thing to say about that. See it when you have time. But yeah. All right, guys. So I think we're going to move into a quick sort of spoilers section now. So if you don't want to be spoiled, if you don't want to go, if you're going to go see this film and you don't want to be spoiled on stuff, because there is some stuff to spoil there, especially, when it relates to a couple of characters. So if you don't want to hear that stuff, switch the video off now. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I really do. And yeah, so spoilers are incoming. So fair warning here. The little Kiwi will pop up and that will be into spoilers, okay? All right. So spoiler section right now. Right. Who dies in this film? Of note, like of actual worth knowing, like who dies. Teresa dies and Newt dies. Now, I was like, out of the two, I'm probably more upset that Newt died. Because I didn't really give a shit about Teresa by the end of it. She was annoying me through the most of the film. She was like, she would go to one, she was with Wicked at the start, doing all the things. She's in there with Miho and saying, Miho, it's okay that you're getting tortured in your mind and is freaking out and all the rest of it. Like, he's screaming and he's been forced to relive all this shit from the maze, the maze that he was in. He's been freaking tortured for his, immune shit that comes out. Like, and she's like, no, it's okay. You're saving a little girl. And then right at that point, no, the little girl's dead. She's a freaking zombie now. Sorry. And she's like, and like he grabs her like, you fucking bitch, you're a traitor. Rah, rah, rah. And then I think he sneaks like a knife or something. But it was just like, and then when like they go to her and like Thomas and all that, like they kind of capture her and say, hey, what's up? You're going to get us into the Wicked Tower. And she put up no real fight on this. Really. She's like, it's almost like she said, okay, cool. And they're like, and you're going to take our tracking chips out. Okay, cool. No problem. Zoop. Cut you open. Zoop. Oh, there's another one. I'm like, wait, what? You chose the other one. You literally dobbed everyone out. Got a whole bunch of people killed. You specifically said like, no, I'm with Wicked now. We're going to find a cure. I'm going to do anything to find a cure. And like literally the first time they come in and say, we're going to force you to get us into that tower. She's like, no, I'll just take you in. I'll just walk you in right now. You want to go now? Cool. She annoyed me. She had no redeemable arc in this story whatsoever. Like right at the end was like, Thomas, we're on the roof and we're going to die. We kiss. Oh wait, the helicopter. I'm going to save you because you could save humanity. But then I'm not going to jump myself after like 20 seconds of seeing the building collapse. Woman, jump. Just freaking jump. Save yourself, for God's sake. Like, it was just like, it was trying to be dramatic. And it's like, it's taking it from the books and stuff. And I get that, but God damn it, I didn't give a shit that she fell into the building. I really didn't give a shit. I was more upset that Newt died. And honestly, Newt deserved to die, to be honest. Because he was just freaking stupid. I can't understand this. And all the zombie stuff, all the freaking virus stuff, the character that gets infected always does this. So it turns out Newt is not actually immune. Can fully get infected. He was like, I guess, like a control person in there. Like all of them wouldn't be immune. They would have some people that are just control, just to see how a non-immune person is affected by this stuff. Newt is one of those. He's not immune, and he's infected, and it's in his arm, and it's like all going up, and he's slowly turning. He tells no one until he literally freaks out and almost beats Thomas to death, sort of thing. Like he's like, "Rah!" Like got him pinned to a wall, and then everyone's like, "Yo, dude, are you okay?" And then he's like, oh yeah, I guess I best not keep this a secret now. On a roof, right next to the wall, where the guards are all hunting for them. They're actually sitting on a roof in full view of everything. Like drones and all shit are flying around, and they're just sitting up on a roof, having a bit of bro time. And he's like, yeah, I'm infected, man. I'm freaking, I'm not immune. But I didn't tell anyone. Even though, in the last film, girl got infected and they actually cured her. Or they thought temporarily cured her. Why'd you not say anything, you stupid fucking idiot? This isn't like one of those groups that as soon as they figure out you're infected, you get shot or thrown out the door and like fed to the wolves sort of thing. It's literally your best friends and you tell no one, and they could literally help you get cured. But no, you tell no one, you change, and then for some strange reason, they think to take you on all these fucking missions. I'm guessing they're short-handed, but he literally becomes dead weight by the end and almost kills Thomas, but ends up killing himself with a knife. I was like, you know what? I'm upset because you're actually somewhat of a cool character and I liked you, but you kind of deserve to die. You kind of deserve to die, seriously, because you were stupid. You should have told someone. They could have helped you. They could have actually got you cured. But no. But no. You just let it sit there in your arm, and you're like, day after tomorrow, we're going to get that cure, man. Day after, next day, tomorrow, I'll tell them tomorrow if there is no cure. And they just kept putting it off. And then right when it was too late, he's like, yeah, actually, I'm infected, man. And I guess, like, the virus was airborne now, too. Like, it evolved from, you had to make physical contact or, be bitten or whatever. Now it's, like, in the air, so everyone was going to get infected anyway, unless you're immune. So, yeah, so I guess that's kind of how he got infected, maybe. But it just felt stupid. It felt stupid, man. I was like, dude, you just watched a girl get cured. Tell someone. I guess then it's the sort of surprise, reveal of a character that we thought was dead that comes back. Gally. Gally's back. The guy, basically the dick guy, the guy that was a dick to Thomas in the first film. Constantly like ragging on him, constantly like, man, that's a bad idea. We're just gonna stay in the glade, even though the doors are open and all these scorpion beasts are coming. We're gonna stay here. And then he got stung and killed Chuck or something. And Miho threw a spear through him. That's what happened. Yeah, Miho threw a spear through him. Turns out he lived. Like, the sting just, I think it wore off or something. The dude was tough enough to survive a spear being thrown through him. And yeah, he was like legit okay. And he got picked up by this resistance group that sits outside the wall and has been fighting Wicked and stuff. And he was a part of them. So yeah, Gally's back. I actually quite liked him in the film. I thought he was like, he wasn't so much of a dick. He was, just a practical dude. He's like, he grew up. He knew, like, okay, I learned some harsh truths. I can't be an idiot about this. I'm just gonna help people. I'm gonna be a badass and shoot a whole bunch of security guards while pretending to be one. Like, that sort of thing. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought he was a nice addition back into the fold. Especially since a couple of people have been killed off and not there anymore. So I was happy about that. And he was like, when they captured Teresa, he was like, yo, we don't even need to take her. We just cut her damn thumb off. It's a thumbprint thing. Just cut her damn thumb off. Like, who gives a shit? Like, I was like, dude, that's some smart thinking right there. Because who needs her, man? Who needs her? She's just trouble. Just cut her damn thumb off. It's like, that was how done I was with Teresa. That's how done I was. Then I guess, like, the whole ending to this thing, right? So when they get into the Wicked base, they sort of set up this thing that allows the rebels outside to control Wicked's, like, security things and to control the wall. And they, like, turn off all the defenses. And this guy, the guy that leads the rebels, Jasper, I think his name was. He's, like, kind of half turned into a crank. And he's, like, got, crazy shit on his face and all that. He's like, follow me to the city that you will reclaim. Like, these guys are all being killed, kicked out of the city. They've shut the walls down. Like, no one can get in anymore. That's kind of been left outside and thrown out. And they're, like, in the poor district, essentially. And, like, there's people walking around with, like, plastic bottles as gas masks and stuff. And he's, like, leading this, like, little rebel resistance outside. And so then they gain control of the wall. And he's like, I will lead you to victory, sort of thing. And they drive off in this truck. That's like, I think got fuel or something all in it, like explosives and stuff. And he sets a flare and he's like kind of like this, and it blows up the wall. And I'm like, oh wait, you're not actually leading them. You're just gonna blow yourself up. Okay. But that was a big ass explosion. That wall came tumbling down real quick. Like, damn, that was a poorly built wall. Like, wow. So yeah, that kind of opens it up, and the rebels, like the riders and all that, and all the poor people, like, flock in, and they proceeded to do something really stupid, which was you know what? Instead of fucking, let's claim this city for ourselves as like the last, like true kind of, comfortable place in this fucking world. Let's just blow it all up with rockets. Let's steal some rockets and blow it all up. Who gives a shit? We're not living here. I guess they're like, well, they are kind of crazy and they're mostly infected and they're like, okay. But their big plan was, we're just going to burn it all to the ground. There's nothing left of this world and you're going to blow up the last piece that may actually help you? It was so stupid. It was so stupid. I'm like sitting there watching these rockets go off and all these buildings come crumbling down. I'm like, why are you destroying these buildings? There's no necessary reason to do this. Fight the guards, fight the fucking wicked, but don't blow up the buildings. Like, take it for yourselves. Take the food, take the shit, take the comfortable beds, all this stuff. At least then when you turn into zombies, you had some sort of comfortable life up till then. At that point, I'm like, the world deserves to die. The world deserves to die at the end. Like, I'm done. Like, just leave him to it. Leave them to it. Immune people, get on your boat. Like, they have the sort of secret base that the good guys have is like this dock. And they have this boat. They're going to go off. And they're going to sail to an island, and they're going to be, they're going to be free of the cures, free of the virus, and we're just going to start anew. We're going to be like in a safe place, a safe haven. And I'm like, yo, get on your boat, sail off, leave these freaking idiots to themselves. Let them turn into fucking zombies and eat each other, because they deserve to. Because they're all a bunch of fucking idiots. Like, seriously. And then I guess it's like, well, Thomas's blood is the only blood that can cure everyone. So it's like, he's the one now. I guess it's another one of like, he's the one of the ones. Because, you have the immunes, but he was like the one of the immunes. Like the special one. So it's kind of like Divergent, where there was Divergent, but then there was like the better Divergent, which was the girl. It was like, this one was like, yeah, he's the savior of the one. Like, he's the one. So, and that's the only reason Teresa's like, Thomas, you have to come back, Thomas. And that's like around when Newt gets killed. But at the same time, there's this big race to get Newt the cure, like the cure, but it's kind of like a temporary one. They'll turn anyway, but unless it's from Thomas's blood. At the same time, Brenda is like sprinting through a war zone. Like, this girl has been with him the entire time, has backed his ass up, saved his ass more times, got bitten. He saved her, didn't betray him, fought like hell, then helped him get to this fucking city. Then when he really needed that stuff, the cure stuff, she ran through a fucking war zone while all the others hid. She's like running through bullets and stuff. She's like, and he's like, when Newt's dead and she's just standing there going, oh my god. He's like, I guess I'm going to go to reason now. Well, he doesn't say that, but he just walks off. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking dick. That girl just ran through a fucking war zone for you and you said nothing to her. And then even at the very end, when he's literally like, they're on this island. They're on the island. Like they actually did sit off and they just left the world to itself and just made the safe haven of immunes. And even at the end, I'm like, okay, he's going to go up and hug the girl. Like, Brenda's going to get she's finally going to get some redemption. Nope. The first person the only person you ever see him hug is Minho. And then you can see him like tap her on the back. Like, good job, buddy. Good job, buddy. Like, that girl got friend zoned, man. She got friend zoned so hard. I'm like, no, Brenda, no. Oh, it's like, don't worry about his ass. Go be with someone else. Eris seems to attract the ladies. Go be with him. I was like, oh man, Brenda. My heart sank for her. But then I guess like Littlefinger killing, like, so once they figure out that the immune's blood can't actually cure anyone, it just temporarily keeps it away from them. It sort of delays it. The big boss lady, the Ava, she's like, yo, I'm done. I'm done. Like, the virus is airborne. We can't stop it. The walls are useless now. We're done. I'm done. I'm just gonna sit here and drink. That's me. That's me. I'm done. And Littlefinger's there like, wait, what? We can't be done. All this shit we did, all this stuff we done, and all the rest of it, and you're just saying we're done? Like, we're just gonna be dead? We're gonna turn to zombies? It's like, hell no, woman, no. So he makes, like, his own little plans. And then he comes up to, like, Teresa and goes, yo, I'd like to be friends with you. You want to be friends with me? As friends, we should tell each other stuff. So if Thomas comes and see you, I'd like to be the first one you tell. Please? We're friends now. That's a little creepy. But, and then in the end, like, he ends up shooting Ava. Like, her and Thomas are having this moment, like, in the trailers, and she's like, you could save us all, Thomas. And then, bang! And it was, like, a bit of a shock, because you're like, whoa, wait, what? And she just dies. She, like, gets shot in the stomach and dies. And then it turns out, like, he was infected. He, like, has his arm, and he's all going. I kind of wanted to see zombie Littlefinger. I actually kind of wanted to see that. Like, if he still has his grin on his face. Like, we may see that, like, if they didn't burn his body in, burn his body in freaking Game of Thrones, him and his, like, he could just be, with the army of the dead, maybe. Could still see it. But I was like, man, I kind of want to see it. And, like, there was this scene where, he thought he was knocked out. Then suddenly, like, the camera pans and he's like, hello! It was, like, fucking just like, whoa! Littlefinger, you're freaking me out here. But yeah, he ended up being the real bad guy in this whole thing, and he got eaten by zombies. It was kind of the only way he was going to go out. Like, as soon as they walk into that room and I see those zombies, and it's like, dude, they're going to break those zombies out. They're going to kill him. And that's going to be it. So, yeah. Very predictable. Very predictable. I think a lot more predictable than a lot of the other two. The other two Maze Runners. It's a bit of a shame. A little bit of a shame. I think that's really all the spoiler stuff. I don't think there's too much else. Otherwise, like, I had a decent time watching this. I think it was, like I said, before the spoiler section, you got time to watch it, you can go see it. If you watch the other two and you kind of enjoyed them, I'd tell you to go and see it. It wraps it up quite nicely. I guess at the end they did have him longingly staring out to the boat and, like, having the cure in his hands. And I'm like, dude, this movie would, like, make my day if he just biffed it in the ocean. He's just like, I was thinking at that point, I'm like, dude, the world deserves to burn. Just fucking let him just throw it in the ocean. Stay on your island or wherever the heck you are. Make your little paradise there. Make your little immune babies and go from there. Like, that's just fuck the other civilization. They're all a bunch of freaking idiots. Throw it in the ocean. And then it just cut. And I was like, damn. I was hoping he's going to throw it in the ocean. I would have at that point. But yeah. Nah, it was okay. It was okay. I think if you can sit there and, like, roll with the punches with it a little bit and have a bit of fun watching it, it's somewhat worth the watch. But it's just another kind of typical, teen, book, young adult book, film, adapted from, film adaptation, series finale. It very much followed the others as well. Like, big city, fighting resistance, two factions fight, boom, everything destroys itself, and they end up going, creating a paradise themselves. That was really it. So it was okay. Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. Bye.